So now that we understand the theory of server-side request forgery vulnerabilities, let's have a basic example on how to discover it and exploit it, and then we will build up on it and cover more complex scenarios in the next lectures. So right here we have a shop website, and as usual you'd want to click on every link, analyze the normal behavior of the website, make a list of it, map the website, and then test every single possible value that is being sent to the website. But obviously I don't want to waste your time. I already know where the vulnerability is, so I'm simply just going to click on view details on a product. Again, you should be testing whatever values that are being sent. But I already know that the check stock in here is vulnerable to a server-side request forgery. So first of all, we just want to check how this functionality works. So for example, let's click on Paris. This basically checks if this item is in stock. We're going to click on check stock, and as a result you get the number of items that are available in stock. Now let's go ahead and turn on our interceptor, and let's send this again, and let's analyze the data that is being sent to the web server in here. So as you can see in here, we have a few values being sent as a post request. You should test this for all of the vulnerabilities that we covered before. Same goes for cookies and all that. But what I'm really interested in for this example is the value that is being sent to the stock API in here. Now this value looks a little bit strange, but if you highlight it, right click, click on convert selection, and URL decode it, you will notice that this is simply a URL. So what's happening right now when you click on check stock in this website, this web server that runs this website is sending another request to the web server that is running on the following address. Because if you compare this address to the web address in here, you will notice that they are different. Therefore, this web server is making a server-side request to the server that is running on this address, and it's asking for the product, for the stock, it's giving it the product ID and the store ID. Therefore, simply seeing this and noticing the fact that this web server is sending a server-side request to another server, and the fact that we can actually see that in here, so as a client we are able to modify this to whatever server we want, should give you a hint that I should test this and I should try to modify this address to a different server and analyze the behavior of the website. If we are able to manipulate this and get it to submit requests to any other server other than what's specified in here, then you have discovered a server-side request forgery, because you're able to tamper with the server-side request that this web server is trying to make, and you're making it do something else that it is not designed to do. So to test, let's simply try to load localhost. Now, if you don't know what we mean by this, basically localhost is a reserved address that will load this machine to itself. So essentially what we're doing right now is we're forging a request to basically load whatever service that is loading on our own machine. And because we did not specify a port, so usually if you want to specify a certain port, you would put a colon followed by the port number. But because we're not specifying a port, we're basically loading whatever service that is running on port 80 in this machine, the server machine, because the server is what's submitting this request, not us. We're simply sending a forged request, and then the server is going to submit it on our behalf. And before sending this, if you remember, this was URL encoded. So we're actually going to highlight it, right click, convert selection, and this time we're going to select URL encode instead of decode. And we're going to click on forward, forward, forward. And now if you scroll down, you will notice the behavior is different. So the default behavior, we actually saw the number of units in here. But now, after we sent a forged request to the server and got it to send that request on our behalf, you notice that we managed to actually get it to load its own website, which is perfect. So basically we managed to discover a server-side request forgery because we sent a forged request to this web server, we got it to submit another request for itself, and as a result, we're actually able to see the website being loaded within itself.